Hey, I'm RJ with Kick-Eez, and today we're at one of our newest customers, Chisel Machining, who is going to show us how they're modernizing the lever. Hey Chad, how are you doing?
Good, good.
Good. Thanks for having us today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is Chad with Chisel Machining. He's one of the owners here, and today he's going to show us how he takes a block of this aluminum and turns it into one of his stocks.
Yep. Okay, so this is our horizontal milling machine.
Okay.
This is what we machine the stocks in. We'll set this up. It will run for 12 hours unattended once we get it going. And we've actually got a set that's finished in here right now, so I'll spin this around and we'll take a look at it.
Perfect. So this is phase one. You basically load those blocks into here and start chopping.
Exactly.
All right.
All right, I'll spin this around. So this is our stock tombstone. Okay. So on this, at any one time, there's 16 stocks loaded up on here. We'll typically do 8 Henrys and 8 Marlins at a time. And it's split up into a first operation and a second operation. What we have here, this is a completed Henry stock. Just blow that off. And then in comparison, this is a completed first operation. So you can see this one is basically a stock just like this, but it still has what we call the hat on it. It hasn't been able to machine the back side of it yet. So we'll take this off and we will insert it into here the other direction. And then that second op is when it will take all the rest of the material off on the back side.
Gotcha. So the initial bolt of aluminum bolts on right here.
Yep.
Front
exactly.
half's milled, then the machine does this automatically?
Automatically.
Rotates it, keeps milling, then you guys just pop them off, bolt them back on, and it finishes the operation here.
Exactly. So when we put this tombstone inside the work area, because this is just the area to change out parts, swap parts, and they do this so that you could literally have one of these inside the machine being machined while you're out here changing parts over for longer run time. So when this tombstone goes in there, it's in there for 8 hours unattended.
8 hours.
8 hours
doing
unattended.
16 stocks, so you got about what, 30 minutes of stock, I guess, on that.
Well, that's just the first op. So then it goes in there again for the second op. So each stock ends up taking about an hour's worth of machine time.
On just this, yeah.
On just this.
Wow.
Yep. Okay, so from here we'll take the stocks, we'll bring a bunch of them over at a time, and then we'll fixture it in this. So this is a 5th axis trunnion. So even though the mill itself is a 3-axis mill, by putting this trunnion in here, it gives us access to be able to do some 5th axis machining. And you'll see here in a minute, it can turn this stock in pretty much every direction. It's fixtured up in there now.
Perfect. So this is almost a finished piece.
Almost a finished piece.
God,
so
that's beautiful.
I'll take this over to the buffing wheel. We'll take off some of the sharp edges up here, and down here. And then after that, they'll go into our tumbler.
Okay.
And what that'll do is that'll remove all the machining marks off of this and take off any of the really sharp edges, because when the machine cuts the aluminum, it can leave super sharp edges. Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you get this question. If I wanted to mount this on my gun just as is, you would not recommend doing that?
No. So we actually get that question quite a bit. People see the nice shiny finish, and when it's freshly machined, it's shiny,
beautiful.
it's pretty. You can definitely see some machining marks and stuff from when it was actually machining the edges and stuff. The problem is, because it's aluminum, it will oxidize, so it'll begin to discolor on its own if you don't put any protection on this. So
Okay.
we anodize them. They're bead blasted, they're tumbled, bead blasted, and then hard anodized. That actually does make the aluminum stronger. It makes it more resistant to scratches and dents, things like that. We have shipped some like this,
Okay.
but we always give the disclaimer that, because they plan on Cerakoting them.
Okay.
They plan on refinishing them.
But your finish is harder than a Cerakote.
It is.
You're hard anodizing, and it makes the whole stock harder.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it protects it. But you look at some of the custom Cerakote jobs coming out of people like Steve at Mad Pig Customs. I mean, you're never going to get that with anodizing. If you want a truly custom looking job, then Cerakote's the only way to go.
Got you. But you could Cerakote over your hard anodized.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's the other thing. Anodizing actually makes a great base for Cerakote. All
Perfect.
the prep is done. It's been bead blasted. It's anodized, so it makes a great base.
Okay. Let's see it buffed.
All right. So we've got a couple done. These are both Henrys, but the process is the same for the Marlins. And then from here, we'll take them over to the tumbler and throw them in there for a little bit.
Perfect.
This is one of our tumblers. It's a smaller one, but it's perfect for the stocks. We'll typically put in six at a time. But I'll turn it on. It's going to be super noisy when I do. I'll turn it on and drop them in, and then we'll typically let them run in here for about 15 minutes.
Perfect.
That way you can actually see what they look like
When we pull them out.
when they come out of there. Okay, so this has been tumbling for about 15 minutes, if you kind of feel around some of the edges
it's
here
so
now,
much smoother now.
so it smooths it out, takes a lot of the sharp edges that otherwise could potentially cut somebody, takes all those edges off, and but the biggest thing for us is it takes all the machining marks out. So while it looks great, it looks shiny when it comes out of the machines, if you're paying close attention, you'll see kind of the machining areas in it, the tool marks that it leaves when it goes by. From here, we'll send these off to our anodizer, and what they'll do is we pay the extra in addition to tumbling them, they're bead blasted once they get down there. So they have all the equipment to do that. So that bead blasting, same thing. Anything that maybe the media here didn't get off, it's gonna put a nice texture on the stock, and it also makes the anodizing sink in a little deeper, the hard anodizing that we use.
Well, that was one thing that first I noticed about your stocks pulling one out of the box, is that it's got such a great, like, almost leathery texture to it. It's not, for lack of a better word, cold like most aluminum. It feels really nice in the hand, and that's where you're interfacing with the gun. So it's really nice that you guys go that extra mile on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is one of the stocks that's back from hard anodizing, and now walk us through, I guess even before you put the recoil pad on here, talk about all the adjustability on this, because this is something I found very, very interesting. That have you seen? I haven't seen any other Marlin or Henry stock that offers this.
Right. There are some there's a wooden one out that has an adjustable cheek height. It's a nice setup if you like a wood stock, but right now we're the only one producing an aluminum stock for it with a true adjustable cheek height. So right here on the cheek pad itself, not only is it adjustable up and down, but you can also alter the angle. So depending on what your face shape is or stuff like that, and how high your optic is, you can adjust this cheek pad to the proper height for your face and the proper angle. So just in some of the customer pictures that we've gotten in, I can see that they're not necessarily parallel with the level of the gun. And so that's good that they have the option to do that. One of the things that a lot of people don't know is adjustable on their stock, because when they get them from us, they're assembled. But the actual butt pad height is adjustable back here. So one of the things on the back of the stock, and you may have seen it during machining, but on the back of the stock itself, we actually put 5 holes back here. And the beauty of that is, and 2 screws to secure the butt pad adapter. And this butt pad adapter has been machined to the same dimensions as the butt pad itself, but you can mount this butt pad adapter at any height that you want to. So if you like to shoulder the gun a little higher, you could lower that butt pad adapter, raising the overall gun, or vice versa. So, and you can put these screws in here into any position that you want.
A little shout out for Kick-Eez on these. These are all milled to fit our medium pads. So any one of our medium pads, here they're using our Sporting Clay, the 08, and Chad will go into a little bit why they went with Kick-Eez in a little bit. But any of our other pads you could put on this as well. So if you want to change up the color, go with our all-purpose, anything like that, fits this perfectly.
Well, not only that, but in addition to that, RJ, is the beauty of going with the Kick-Eez pad. This is, I think, 15/16, right? Just under an inch thick. But we get a lot of requests for one of the things, like if their children are shooting it, they like to have the option to have a shorter length of pull. So really one of the beauties about us switching to the Kick-Eez pad is that we're also able to offer them the thinner pad.
The half-inch pad, yeah.
And that one's a 1/2 inch, so that takes almost a 1/2 inch off the length of pull, which, I mean, that's huge. You know, a 1/2 inch can be a mile to some people.
Without any cutting the stock, any adjustment,
Absolutely.
Just replacing the pad.
So exact same pad, and reduce the length of pull by a 1/2 inch. And then there's also an even thicker one that's even thicker than the 15/16.
That's 1 1/8", I believe.
Yeah. So for the guys with the longer arms that don't want to have so much bend in their elbow and want that longer length of pull, they can go with that pad also. So that's another benefit that we found just for our customers of going with the Kick-Eez pad.
Perfect. Okay, so once it's all finished, it gets boxed up, and this is the box that the customer will get in it.
Yep.
Do you want to show us what it looks like on your Marlin there?
Yeah, so the beauty is with this stock is this is one of the few easy user upgradable things that you can do to your lever gun. Steve at Mad Pig Customs and some of the other gunsmiths, they do incredible work on the actions, on the inside, smoothing everything up. But those things really should be left to the professionals, right? I would definitely never recommend gunsmithing the internals of your own firearm, right? But the stock, it's literally one screw that you take out, and this is the same for the Marlin and the Henry. You remove one screw, you take off the old stock, you mount up the new stock, put it on there, 2 screws to adjust the cheek pad and height depending on what optic you're running up here. Maybe it's iron sights, maybe it's a red dot. We've seen guys mount infrared illuminators on these things, night vision on these things. I mean, the sky's the limit. But you put the one screw back in, tighten it down, adjust the cheek pad height for your body. Maybe you'll adjust the height of the butt pad. We kind of send them out in kind of the average configuration that seems to work for most people. I would say by far the majority of the orders we get, they also order the Hoptic USA quiver on it also. And the beauty of that is it allows you to store ammunition right on your stock. We've also got a Hoptic USA quiver right here on our handguard, and we'll get to that in a minute.
We haven't even talked about your handguard.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
This looks like this is also adjustable, so you could adjust if you want this a little more forward, a little more back, correct? Okay.
Absolutely. So you could move this one hole back further, or actually 2 more forward.
Okay.
So
Again, kind of depending what's comfortable for you to load.
exactly.
Yeah.
The thing that was important with us on this was modularity and adjustability and utility.
And you got a QD point for a quick detach. You
Yep.
got a swing swivel down here.
Yep. And it ships with both of these, the sling swivel stud, so you can leave that in or
Okay.
take it out. Or for the guys that are running the QD mounts down here, you can do that. One of the things that we are including on our fore ends is also a QD mount. We actually get them from Midwest. Midwest Industries is a great partner of ours. They make incredible fore ends also, but they make a lot of accessories, a lot of M-LOK accessories, like the QD mount and also like the pick rail attachments.
Okay.
So all the fore ends will also ship with a 5-slot pick rail mount from Midwest Industries and also their sling QD mount.
That's a beautiful looking foregrip too. And these are starting to ship soon as well.
They are. In fact, these will actually start shipping tomorrow. So today's August 10th, so they'll start shipping August 11th. The only part we were missing were the panels, and those will be in. Here, I'll verify clear fire on there. I'll let you hold that for a second, and I'll just grab.
Oh, that's great.
So here's a fore end. This was one of the versions of the fore end. This wasn't the final version, but really the only difference between the one mounted on this Marlin 1895 SBL and the one I'm holding in my hand is we've added these cooling and lightning slots. So it adds a little aesthetics to the gun, as well as it takes a few ounces out. The one thing about using solid billet aluminum like we're using is it's heavy duty, and because it's heavy duty, it's heavier.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you right now, the other fore ends on the market, they are going to be lighter than this by a few ounces. But what I believe that we're giving you is extra rigidity, extra strength, and you know, if you're taking this out and beating it up in the woods and actually hunting with these things, I think you're going to appreciate. Although it is a few ounces heavier, I think you're going to get a lot more rigidity and strength out of it.
One of the things I really liked about your fore end when I saw this is your set screws you have here, because I know on mine I have play in my foregrip.
Right.
Tighten these set screws down, nothing. I mean, that's rock solid.
Right.
That really feels nice.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too much. Can we expect to see any of these stocks coming out for any other guns in the future?
We do. So we're finishing up. Like I said, the Marlin fore ends will begin shipping to pre-order customers tomorrow. The Henry fore ends are next. We should have those done probably in the next month. We'll have a fore end for the Henry. It'll look almost identical. Their mounting screw is in a little different position, so small adjustment there, but for the most part, they'll look the same. After that, the next project that we are moving to is actually going to be the Remington 870 stock.
Oh, that's going to be exciting.
So it'll use a Kick-Eez butt pad, and it will be skeletonized, somewhat similar to this, but it's going to be some cool features. Can't talk about all of them right now, but Remington 870 stock is going to be next.
Oh, that's going to be exciting. Well, we have loved working with you guys. We're excited to see where this goes.
Same here.
And thank you so much for having us out
absolutely.
today. Really
Thanks.
appreciate it. Thank you guys.